Good day, everyone. Welcome to Something to Think About. Today's topic is the left's war on gun ownership. And what I'm seeing lately is the left's underlying plan of gun confiscation. And it's really quite an ingenious method that they're employing. We know that their overall, objective is to eliminate gun ownership and eventually rescind the Second Amendment. But that is not a popular viewpoint, in the United States right now. And I know that since the pandemic started, I believe they said 10 million more firearms have been purchased. So the Democrats know that they are fighting a losing battle with trying to take our guns. So they're doing something else. And I have two cases that I believe kind of are examples of what their strategy is. The first is the McCluskey case in St. Louis, where Mr. and Mrs. McCluskey were charged with trying to defend themselves and their property. The second case is of an employee of a Arlington, Virginia smoke shop, Mr. Abu Shariah. And this what has happened. Now we know that in the McCluskey's case, that prosecutor Kim Gardner has charged them with brandishing weapons and had an order that their guns be confiscated. Now, they were doing nothing more than defending their property and themselves because a mob tore down a gate, threatened them, and threatened their life, threatened their property, and some of these, rioters had guns as well. They were brandishing weapons, but yet Kim Gardner is not going after them. She's going after the McCluskeys. Now, in the second case with Mr. Abu Shariah, he was living in the back of this Virginia smoke shop. He had received permission from the owner of the smoke shop. Apparently, Mr. Abu Shariah's apartment complex was being overrun with COVID. He feared catching it, so he asked if he could stay in this back room. The owner agreed, thinking it would be beneficial for both parties, that the owner would have 24-hour protection kind of a thing, since he was going to be, Mr. Abu Shariah was living there. And the owner of the smoke shop also purchased two handguns, one for himself and one for the store that Mr. Abu Shariah had access to. Well, in the early morning hours of August 2nd, Mr. Abu Shariah was awoken by the sound of somebody breaking into the smoke shop. He calls the police. Before they can arrive, he is confronted by three armed men. The one closest to him, he shoots. The other two men he shoots at but does not hit. In the scuffle of everything that happened, the two assailants dragged the third, who had been shot, out of the store just as the police arrived. Everybody goes to custody. The man who was shot survived, non-fatal wound. But the prosecutor decides to not prosecute the three robbers who broke into the store. Instead, they go after Mr. Abu Shariah and charge him with malicious wounding, reckless handling of a firearm, and a violation of a protective order. Apparently, he had some issue prior, and he was not permitted to have a firearm in his possession, so he broke that law. I don't think malicious wounding is a good charge. If you have three men coming at you who have weapons and you shoot to protect yourself, I think that's self-defense. That's not malicious wounding. Reckless handling of a firearm, maybe the only reckless thing was that Mr. Abu Shariah's aim wasn't as good as he wanted it to be, because he only hit one of the three assailants. So what do I see happening with all of this and what I see happening around the country? I see that the left is trying to have Marxist prosecutors elected or appointed to positions, and they are going to start using fear and intimidation of prosecution against anyone who defends themselves with a firearm. Even if the firearm is not discharged, just the mere fact that you have a gun in your possession will be enough to have you prosecuted, even if it's in your home. And now, you have to think about this. Prosecutors have limitless amount of resources to use against an individual. While a citizen could find themselves going financially bankrupt trying to prove their innocence and not get charged with a crime. So you have these prosecutors using taxpayer money, our own money, to prosecute individuals for exercising their constitutional right of self-defense and their constitutional right of gun ownership. So prosecutors can, extend these things out, financially bankrupt a gun owner till the point where they finally have no other choice. They don't have any more money, so they're charged with a crime. Their guns are confiscated, and since they're convicted, they will no longer be allowed to legally own a firearm. That's what I see happening, and I believe it's going to be happening more. So that's what's on my mind. Thanks for listening, and remember to echo and share this post. Give me a follow if you haven't already, and if you enjoy the content and would like to support my efforts, I have a link in the comments section to my book, Limited Duty. It's available on Amazon, and a portion of all proceeds has been dedicated to the Wounded Warrior Project, so it'll be helping them out as well. Have a great day and take care. Thanks.